Hi there, Stampers. It's Linda Schmidt with Stampin' with the Hounds. Welcome to my channel. For you new subscribers and for those of you returning, thank you. I appreciate it. I am doing a fun fold series, and each month I try and focus on one particular fun fold, and then I show you various variations on how to do that fun fold. So this month for July 2024, I'm focusing on a Z-fold. So this one that I'm going to be doing today, it's a very, very simple, but it's the basis of, what you do when you do a Z-fold. And then I'll show you some other variations and stuff. But what I'm calling this one, it's a front panel Z-fold. And so this one is just your normal, card that you would do, an A2 card. And then you just fold, score this in half, and then that just gets folded back to make your Z-fold. And then you can just decorate your panels, and then add whatever you want to do for that panel. The focal piece can be any size. So on this one, I used the rectangular Stampin' Up! Dies, and I did I think the third and fourth one in, which they end up being around 2.5 by 4, and then like a 3 by 4.25 for these panels is what I did on here. And then this one has the fern and the wild fern stamp set. So this is one we're going to be doing today, and this is one that my card class recently did. And in my in-person card classes, they get a little fun fold binder, and then each month I give them printed instructions, and then they do the projects. So these copies of those PDFs are available in my Stampin' with the VIP Hounds group page on Facebook. So if you have not joined, come join our community. We would love to have you. So I'm just going to show you, so this is what we're going to do today. And then just showing you some other variations. So this is the exact same fold, but now I switched out my panel. I made it larger, but it's that same concept on there. So there's lots of different ways that you can alter this fold. So that's just one with a larger panel. This is with that sketched butterflies. And this is our in color, the new one, Shy Shamrock. And this one's got a little bit of the Summer Splash. And then the Peach Pie. And then here's one. I just made this one this morning. This is a new set that is in the online exclusives that just came out July 3rd. So you want to make sure you check those out on my website. This is what's called the Changing Leaves, and I'll be doing some more videos featuring this set, because this is a great one. It's got a die, and it also has a hybrid folder so that you can emboss and die cut at the same time. So that's Changing Leaves. And then I also threw in one of our new sets, the Everyday Greetings. So that's another online exclusive, and these are both photopolymer. And then the other paper that I'm featuring on here, this is the 6x6. This is the Iconic Celebrations, and that's available online too. So this is a great, all the holidays are in here. I love the little champagne glasses, too cute. And it's got some of our great, standard kind of good colors, and then it's through in some of, I think it's got like Misty Moonlight. Let's see, Pecan Pie. I don't know if there's any in colors in here. That one might be. What does it say here? Cajun Craze, Cherry Cobbler, Misty Moonlight, Moody Mauve. Yeah, so that's an in color. And then Mossy Meadow and Pecan Pie. But otherwise, they're kind of our staple colors. So make sure you check that out. And there's quite a bit of paper in here. That's a good stack of 6x6. So this is one I made. Again, so instead of doing a rectangle, I did the circle. I did the deckled circle dies. So you can change up. And then what I did is I made sure this was the same size as my inside, so that you can write on here without being, afraid of having your sayings or anything showing when the card is closed. So that's another one, another idea. And that's with that new folder. I did some of the die cuts. So again, super easy. And then you can also switch it and do it as landscape. So on this one, I made my panel fairly large so that it looks like it's just one card, like opening it up, but this is still that Z-fold. I just made my panel larger, and then I decorated those panels with it. So this is using that Seaside Wishes stamp set that is in the the new annual catalog for 24-25. So really fun. And then I did that scrappy strip technique, which is kind of good way to use up your scraps. So again, that's the landscape version of it. And then here's another one where I did the panel, almost full size as the card, but this is again the portrait, but it's still that same standard Z-fold. And then on this one, I didn't decorate those, but I did do my little scenery for the inside of the card. And that uses that in the Grove. And then some of the Encircled in Nature dies that are an online exclusive. So kind of fun. Love it, love it. I love simple fun folds. So we're going to get started. Let's say we're going to do a version of this one today, or actually the same card. I didn't change it up too much. All right, so you will need, for your card base, it's just going to be 5.5 by 8.5, and then we're going to score at 2 1/8 and 4 1/4, and this is Shy Shamrock. And then for your inside, for your greeting, it's just your standard 4 by 5 1/4, and I'm just doing basic white. And then for decorating your panels, so you've got one you're going to see on the outside and then one is on the inside. So you can do the same pattern paper or you can do different. I chose to do 2 different patterns. So my pattern A is 1 7/8 by 5 1/4. And again, this is that in color Shy Shamrock, the 6 by 6. So you got the stripes and then the floral. And then my other one, for the inside, same size, 1 7/8 by 5 1/4, and again, that's that peach pie. So it's just the same pattern, but it's just different color. And then for my panels, I am doing the rectangle dies that I've already die cut, and then I also took the Fern embossing folder, and I already embossed that peach pie on there. So I've already done that. And like I said, these were, I think they were the, yeah, so it's like the 4th one in and the 5th one in, but they wind up being around 2 1/4 or 2.5 by 4, and then the larger one is 3 by 4 1/4. It's kind of what it ends up. But again, like I said, these can be any size that you want them to be. And I already have these scored, I think. Yeah, I do. But just to, we'll just redo it here a little bit. All right, so again, on the long side, we are going to score at 2 1/8 and 4 1/4. Okay, and that's all the scoring, so very simple. And then you're going to, like normal, you're going to fold your card in half. And then take this flap and fold it back. And that makes that Z-fold. Okay? So then the inside, that was that 4 by 5 1/4, and I'm just doing white. And before I put that in, I am going to stamp on here really quick, because I was going to do, so I'm featuring the Wild Fern, which was a carryover, so this is still in the annual catalog, and then the dies that go with it. So it's kind of a, I really like this set. I love the little fiddlehead. That's what we're going to use today. So I chose to do, and then there's like this little kind of linen little background stamp. So we're going to do that in peach pie, and then we'll do our fiddlehead in the Shy Shamrock. And I'm just doing this kind of like right in the lower left-hand corner of the card. Because remember, you're going to see this part when the card is closed. And then we'll do the fiddlehead and Shy Shamrock. I just love this color. So here's that. Close these up so I don't put my card in an ink pad. It's like the worst thing that ever happens. All right, so now that can go ahead and go on our inside of our card. Making sure I'm centered. Okay, so now we have our DSP panels. So this is where your rectangle panels, these pieces, they're going to be adhered onto that front one. So we're going to decorate this second panel with our pattern paper. And since I'm doing the green, I think I might do the stripes on the inside for this one. And this is that peach pie color. So this is going to go right inside here. All right, and then the front one, so again, these aren't going to be, there's nothing on those. I'm going to go ahead and adhere this one. Let's see, which direction do I want my, I think I want it going that way. So if you wanted to, you could decorate these back ones if you wanted to. If you have scraps that you want to use up, you can do that as well. So again, those would all be that 1 7/8 by 4. Or wait, no, what did I say? 1 7/8 by 5 1/4. Sorry. Oh God, Linda in math. All right, then we need our rectangle pieces. So again, I already die cut these and did that with the embossing folder, the Ferns. I'm just going to attach this one onto the crumb cake. So peach pie onto crumb cake. And then before I adhere this, I am going to wrap my ribbon around. So we're going to do that. And we're needing a little bit of linen thread. And I just have some retired ribbon. I think this is actually, I think it was like that pale papaya we had a couple of years ago. But I still had some ribbon left over. And it kind of coordinated with the peach pie. So calling it good. All right, so what I'm doing is I just kind of wrap this around. So I've kind of got my pieces somewhat in the center. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a little bit of adhesive here on the back. Get this so I'm straight. I'm just looking at my grid lines here. Oh, I need to move this back. Okay, so now that's kind of holding this in place, basically, is what I'm doing. So that I can kind of tie it with the linen thread. I'm just going to put a little bit there in the center just to hold this ribbon. Hold this ribbon in place while I'm futzing with it. All right, so that's kind of held in place. And then I just take some linen thread, and all we're going to do is we're just going to tie a knot, and I just wrap it around a few times, so I'm just cutting off a little bit here. All right, so all I'm going to do is just tie a knot, and I'm kind of squeezing or moving it down so it's fairly close to the die cut. All right, so then I'm going to wrap and kind of just keep wrapping this around. So I'm not tying anything, I'm just wrapping it. And then I'll do one final knot, just tying a knot to keep it all held in place here. And I'll probably tie it a double knot just to make sure it doesn't come undone. And then I'll just go ahead and snip off the ends. Whoops. All right, so there it just kind of, another way to use ribbon if you don't like tying bows. And then since this card, you know, this ribbon does kind of fray a little bit, you know, I'm just going to trim just a little bit off, but actually I don't mind seeing the fray with the theme of this card because we've got the deckled, you know, kind of edge already. All right, that looks pretty good. Okay, so then we will add our ferns. And so I already die cut this, and I did it twice, and then I adhered them together just to give it a little bit of stability, because what we're going to do, so normally, you know, you'd have to do all that little glue, you know, the liquid glue, but what I'm going to do is I'm just putting glue on this little border, attaching the stitched rectangle that comes with the fern die. And then I'm just going to put dimensionals on here, and then this way, this is all going to be free. But because I have that double layer, it just gives it a little bit more support. So before I adhere that, I want to make sure I stamp my saying. And so this is from the Fern set. It's called Wishing You Well Today, Tomorrow, and Every Day That Follows. And I'll do that in crumb cake. Yeah, I always like the dies that have kind of like your shapes that you can use for sentiments. So this has got some nice rectangular ones. All right, so like I said, I'm just going to take and put glue on just that frame part. And I did this in Shy Shamrock again for the ferns. And this will just get attached right on the edge there. Make sure it's adhered and dried. And then we'll just add dimensionals on the back. Now that can be attached onto a rectangle, and let's go right about there. And then we can go ahead and attach this now onto that panel. So again, if you wanted to die cut this crumb cake another time, you could put that then right behind it. So that way, if you were doing your sentiment, you know that as long as it's, you know, behind this, that you wouldn't see anything when the card is closed. So that's another way of doing it. But when I go to send this, I'll just make sure I write over here. All right, so now we're just going to go ahead, and I always like to do a little bit of a stronger adhesive for the flaps. So I'll make sure I get where I want to be. So we will, where is my pencil? Okay, I just like to, so I position it where I want it, and then I just turn this over and I just make a little mark so that I know I can put adhesive then all on this side so I don't go over. So I'm just going to use some tear and tape. You could do the liquid glue if you wanted to, or any, you know, whatever adhesive, a strong adhesive that you like. All right, and I'll just use my pick tool to peel off that backing. All right, then that can go on our front of our card. Do a spot check to make sure no adhesive is showing. And then to finish it off, we'll do some of our little embellishments. So these again are in an online exclusive. So there's birds and then little dragonflies. So these are the, yeah, dragonflies and birds is what it's called. But they're like little brass embellishments, which are kind of fun. And I'm always not a bird person, but I do like these. All right, so we will do, there's two different style birds. I'm going to do one of these here. I'll do the other one, and then we'll do one more. Whoops. Come here. It's flying away from me. There we go. And one down here. All right, so super easy, simple, fun fold. But it gives, again, a little bit of movement, kind of a little bit different. It can still stand up on display, which I always like when I make my cards. So again, that is the FrontPanel Z-fold. So again, I'm going to be working on some other variations of the Z-fold. So make sure you subscribe so you get notified when I upload those videos. So thanks again for watching. Have a great and creative day. Bye-bye.